Hey guys, Zach here at eTrailer.com. Today we're taking a look at the Swagman CURRENT 2-bike platform style bike rack on our 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe. Now the Swagman CURRENT is going to be an excellent solution to get some of your beefier bikes to your destination, whether it's your electric bike like we have here, fat tire bikes, but it's going to do a really good job of holding most style bikes. The one exception I would say is with this being a frame mounted bike rack is I wouldn't put your carbon fiber bikes on this. It's something you're going to want to maybe look at a wheel mount, but this needs to be a frame mount for how big of a bike it's going to carry. So it's going to carry up to 60 pounds in bike, so this electric bike is going to fall just under that. We do recommend taking the battery off for transport, so it's going to save you some weight and it's going to be a little bit easier on the vibrations going down the road on that battery. So one thing with this being a heavier style, or carrying heavier bikes, you are going to be able to tilt it away. It is going to maybe be pretty tough, especially with two bikes on here, but you're going to come back to this lever right here. You're going to release it, and you're going to slowly tilt this away. And this is going to give you some clearance to get into that hatch in case you need to get back there with those bikes loaded up. So it's pretty good tilt there, not really going to come into no obstructions there with anything. So we'll close that back down, bring this back up. Now with those frame mount, or the frame mount style hooks, it is going to be a pretty stiff rubber on there. Like there's not a lot of give to it, so you may run into some issues with maybe some tiny scuffs on your frame there, but it's going to do a good job of protecting it. Now down here, it's going to have some pretty long straps to accommodate those fat tire bikes. I really like the green. I think it really accents the bike rack really nice, and especially with the bike that we actually have here today, it looks pretty good. It's going to have some nice padding there too, on the right there. That's going to go on your wheel to keep those from getting scratched up. And those are pretty sturdy. They got a little bend in them on the wheel mounts there, or the wheel trays, excuse me. But those are going to hold up really nice. I think they hold the bike in place pretty solidly. Get those released. Now with this also on these hooks, the buttons to release those are going to have a lock on them, which is really nice because if you want to run into the store and grab a drink or anything, it's kind of stiff there. Now when bringing this back, it's pretty tight back here. So with these being heavier bikes, you definitely want to be careful of bringing those out. Probably not a bad idea to have somebody kind of guide you out if possible, but I can do it by myself. I think you'll be able to as well. Get that out of the way. Bring these down a little bit. And those just kind of ratchet down. And you can see if the bike has any kind of movement up, it's going to hold it in place. Those are pretty stiff there. I'm going to bring these straps. You don't necessarily have to put those back in place, but I kind of like them, especially with those being longer. I don't really want them dangling down that far. Now in this position, you're going to want to use this lever right here to put it in a So position, so you can lower that down, and that's only going to go one way. Get those out of the way so they don't make contact with those levers right there. And then you're going to be able to get clearance that way too, but if you don't want to have to lower it all the way, let me get you a quick measurement to show you how much this is going to add to the back of your vehicle. So from the bumper, it looks like we're adding about 25.5 inches. Now we can reduce that down by pulling up on that same lever that we tilted the bike racks back. I'm going to put it back in place. And that's going to add about 15 inches. Now the one thing to maybe be concerned about is how close this comes to the bumper right here. It is pretty close, and with these being stiff, like if those made contact, it might scratch your vehicle. But we have several inches of clearance here, which looks like the closest point It's about 1.25 inches, so that's pretty tight, but that's really solid. I'm not too concerned about that at all, making any kind of contact. We can come down here and we can get a ground clearance measurement. I'm going to go back here to the furthest point. That's going to be 13.5 inches. Kind of has a nice tilt up there, so shouldn't have any issues there unless you're on any kind of steep incline going into a driveway. Now the way it attaches to the hitch here, it's going to work with 1.25 and 2-inch hitches. So we've got it in a 2-inch hitch right now, but if you needed this for another vehicle, what you could do is you can remove that sleeve with the included tool, and then it would go right into 1.25 inch. The way it's secured in there is with a anti-rattle bolt. So that just threads into the bike rack, and then it has a lock here on the other side. That's going to be key-to-like with the locks that were on the arms to secure your bikes to the rack. And what that does is that really secures it down to keep the movement to a minimum. There might be just a tiny bit of up and down movement, and that's due to that adapter. There's a little bit of play in there. But side to side, like, you're going to have really good connection. And I think you'd have to hit some serious bumps to get that going up and down. But I think you're going to be pretty pleased with the way that keeps things secure, especially with those heavier bikes. But that's going to do it for a look at the Swagman Current 2-bike platform style rack on our 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action. This simulates turning corners or evasively maneuvering. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Once we get to the full speed bumps, we'll see the up and down action. This will be just like driving in and out of a parking lot, parking garage, or driveway.